Well, shooters and reloaders out there, Fortune Cookie 45 LC coming to you from the Hot Lead Zone. And here's another one of our projects. And that is, we got here a empty case full of real scuzzy, grungy 45 ACP range brass. And this is not your once fired new factory stuff. This is pretty scuzzy. Came off a steel range, a steel shooting range. And so you see we even have garbage inside some of these. So let's go ahead and get these all polished up with our wet tumbling. This is actually what the brass looked like in the light of day as it was picked up off the steel range. Pretty scuzzy stuff. Now the newer brass, of course, I separated out. This is the worst of all the lot. Let's clean it up and see what we can do with a wet tumbler. Frankfurt Arsenal Platinum Wet Tumbler. What we're really testing also is how well does a Frankfurt Arsenal wet tumbler do when you load it to the max without the pins. So we're going to add hot water to this, and then we're going to go ahead and put in the Dawn and the Lemmy shine. So there's the unit running. We're going to let it run for an hour and a half, and then we'll process that brass. So you see what we have here is 5 pounds of pins were left out so we could put more brass in. And so here we go. Let's go ahead and open this up. There was no leaking of any liquid during the time we were tumbling. Tumbled for an hour and a half. Put in the grate. And now let's go ahead and pour the liquid into the drain. Now I'll take the grate off this side. Put the other side of the grate on. Now we begin the rinsing procedure. No pins to deal with, that's really nice. So now we'll dispose of this liquid. Now the sun is really bright today, and when the light was going through, when I poured the water out, you couldn't see how dirty that water was because of the bright sun going through the water. Made it look like it wasn't very dark, but it was. Now we'll go ahead and rinse it 3 times. First. And again. This was a heavier load, so we're going to go ahead and rinse it a couple more times. still a little bit of suds coming out there, so I'm going to rinse it a couple more times. So you see when you turn it over, there's more that drains. We'll let that just go ahead and drain for a couple minutes. So then we just go ahead and put the brass out in the sun and a gentle breeze. Let that go for 2 hours or so and let it dry out a bit. Then we'll come back with a hair dryer and touch up all the other wet spots that might be still in there. But that looks pretty good. No matter how grungy, they sure come out nice. It's going to be a pleasure loading these. Looks like new brass. Those of you who have seen my other videos on wet tumbling have to notice that that's the biggest load of brass that we've processed in one run yet. And without any pins to separate, that's a huge advantage. And look at the inside of those casings. We'll be able to show you that better later on in another. Well, you know, I've been doing a lot of 45 ACP recently, so that's why we have to process some more of this brass here, isn't it? And here we go. Pretty scuzzy stuff. So there's the real king-size jug of cheese balls, all full of 45 ACP brass. Almost full. It's pretty close to 75% full there, so that's a big load of brass, and all done nicely with the one run from the Frankfurt Arsenal Platinum Series Rotary Tumbler Wet Tumbler. Bye for now.